I gave Greg the Star Wars panel, so this is mine now.
Oh.
Ooh.
All right. The Real Rejects. You spent a lot of time with them, but do you really know them? So I'd like to start out by asking a couple questions, very pointed, specific questions. You guys didn't realize that this was going to be this
We
intense,
did not know
you?
this was coming.
I had no idea what I was walking into today.
Is this broken? Oh, okay.
It's like the most important person to give the microphone to.
Pay for it.
You can't have that on, we're streaming.
It's not. It's apple juice.
So
Vitamin C is important.
I would love to know, at what point did you first meet Greg and get introduced to the Real Rejects? And when was the first moment that you really realized that you were stuck and this was going to be your reality? And I'll open that up to whoever can answer it first.
I love how this is a Greg and the Rejects panel.
I have an answer. I guess I'll go first. I realized when I actually started enjoying it and that it wasn't the traditional internet slog I go through. I'm really fiercely independent. I don't like sharing. And so I really enjoy like the way the internet allows you to be like democratic with your opinion. Like you can enjoy your own opinion and you can decide whether or not to read the comments or not. But that also means like it's in your control. And I've been a part of so many team shows, and I've loved so many people I've worked with. Like Roxy and I worked together almost a decade before we did Real Rejects, and I think I've worked with like so many people separately, but this was something I looked forward to. It wasn't a work thing. It wasn't me going like, oh, I'm excited to see blank, comma, and then get paid. It was, I'm excited to go see these people, and I'm excited to share in art and conversation. And then that evolved recently with me and Greg doing a show that is somewhat titled. And we actually talk about the things that I would talk about off camera. And that's always the dream, right? Like the more we get into this, the more nuanced it gets, the more it's naturalized, the more it's a regular conversation. That's what we've always wanted to do with reactions, is make it like you're watching with us on the couch. We talk about that in every video. But it isn't the case in most networks and with most people. And so to find a family, to find a bunch of rejects, and then to evolve that over the time has made it, I'm stuck.
That was beautiful. Go ahead, Aaron.
So, funny enough, I guess the way I met Greg is a little untraditional. I actually started off as a fan of the channel. I met him at a screening of Batman: The Killing Joke many moons ago. I met him and Andrew at a screening, and then we met and then departed fairly quickly. And a couple years later, I went to Greg and John's event called Film Therapy, and we really got to connect there, and then again sparsed off into our separate corners of the universe. And I used to host an open mic. One thing about me that maybe you guys don't know who watch the channel, I'm actually a poet. I perform poetry, live, spoken word, across all of Los Angeles, and I used to host an open mic for 4 years. And I just randomly hit up Greg on DMs. I was like, hey, do you want to come to my mic? And I think I invited him a couple times. First time he wasn't able to come. The second time, he's like, yeah, sure, I'll come through. And he saw me host, and he saw all the different artists come through, and then he did something I never expected. He got up on stage himself, and he performed a poem, and I was like, I didn't know he did that. That's pretty cool. And from there, we really got to connect on a genuine level beyond movies and television, but just as humans over art. And from there, we formed a very genuine friendship, and I can still consider him one of my closest friends to this day. When I need advice, in spite of the craziness that you guys don't see behind the scenes, he's a very hardworking and passionate man, and he's yet still has time to have close, cultivated, careful friendships. And I consider him someone who is very, very warm and very present, and I'm grateful to be a part of this team, part of this family, and I'm happy that I met him because my life is forever changed because of it.
All right. That was
I love how much Greg is hating this right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm like so tense in the shoulders.
Marky
I
Mark
did
and the
not
Funky
expect.
I'm gonna help. Don't worry.
Thanks.
First of all, you guys for being here right now. You're the real ones. Like, thank you so
Give it
much
up,
for
y'all.
staying. We know this is running late, and behind him we're at the last panel here tonight. So huge thank you, like us clapping for you, because thank you for being here. And then I'll give my flowers to Greg. But the truth about how I met Greg is that every time I tell the story, he tells me I'm wrong, and that's not what happened. We have revisionist history going on here. He thinks he was a fan of me. I think I was a fan of him. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I think that what's really funny about Greg is that he doesn't know that he has a channel with 1 million+ subscribers. So he thinks that he's like, you know, just walking around like we're not all so crazy impressed with him, because he is unbelievably impressive but very humble. So I was dying to get on his channel. Dying to. I love what the Rejects do. I'm the most recent member of the Rejects. I'm the last one to be added. And no one's allowed after me.
Doors closed.
And so I really wanted to get on the channel. And apparently he really wanted me on the channel, but neither one of us said that for a while. And then finally he asked me. We did the black phone, and I thought I blew it. I was really nervous, but the people liked me enough that he brought me back. And then I did an animated movie, and I really blew it, and everybody hated me. And he brought me back anyway, so I was like, that's a real one. Thank you so much.
Then we did The Thing, and then they didn't release it for a year.
Yeah, that happened too. I'm part of the 2 worst reviewed with The Thing and
Team Glory, let's go.
on the channel. So, you know, Greg must like me somehow because he's kept me around. But that's kind of how I started here.
Okay, I'll go. I was a nobody on YouTube. I had like 800 subscribers, and Greg had, I think, 750,000 at the time. He's like, hey, you want to come on my channel? And I was like, is this a scam? And then I looked him up, and I was like, it's legit. I will definitely drive to this guy's apartment, who I do not know. He has 750,000 subscribers. And I go, and he opens the door in this dark, like, dingy apartment, and with him, where him and John live. They don't live there anymore. And we didn't even get to filming right away. We literally just talked for like 2 hours, became friends, filmed a reaction. I was like, this guy is solid, legit, amazing. We were friends after that, and I still went back to his apartment and would make him and John do improv. After we did a video, I'd be like, but you guys have to do an improv video for my channel, though. I don't remember what it was. We would pick like an item out of the house, and I was like, you guys got to we got to make something fun about it. And I don't even know if it was funny, but they did it for me anyway. And so that's how we met 9 years ago.
How do I turn this into a movie reference? So how I met Greg, we were at a pool party. And I don't even think I've told Greg this before. I actually recognized him when I saw him, but I didn't know how I knew him because I had actually only seen him on one video. It was a Batman Arkham Knight reaction. And I had watched everything Batman Arkham Knight at the time because I was so anticipating that game. And I wanted to play it cool with him. I was like, I don't want to let him on to the fact that I know who he is. So we engaged in conversation after an hour of trying to figure out how I'm going to talk to this human being. Well, I didn't want to let him know onto the fact that I give him status, you know. But anyways, so we engage in conversation. He's like, you know a lot about movies and TV shows. I was like, a little bit. And he's like, would you like to come on my channel sometime? I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. So we exchanged what was known as Twitter back then. And yeah, he actually mistakenly called me by the name Aaron, which is funny because that's my roommate's name now.
Hi.
Yes, great poet, by the way. But yeah, so then I started coming onto his channel. I was a little bit nervous going on because I'd always engaged in movie conversations, which I love doing. It's a passion of mine, but yeah, I was a little bit nervous about it. Never been spoken in front of a camera doing it, but Greg, you know, was really cool about it. He made sure I, you know, calmed me down, said, dude, just act natural, be yourself, have fun. And yeah, in regards to Michael's question, how did you know you were stuck with him? I'd say it was either one of two different ways. It was later that year on Christmas Day when he messaged me and said, I need you to come over and do a Deadpool trailer reaction with me on Christmas Day.
You're Jewish.
Yeah, but still, it's Christmas Day,
That's
okay?
how I started. I said, you're a Jew, right?
I'm allowed one day off a year, okay? So it was either that day or it was either the day he asked me to officiate his wedding. One of those two days, I was like, kind of stuck with this guy, but it's okay because he's one of the most genuine, kindest, empathetic human beings I've ever known, and even more so than just a great friend. I love working with the guy, too. He just makes life so easy around there. Even when times get crazy around there, he's such a joy to work with. The whole team is a joy to work with. But, yeah, that's how we met, and that's when I knew I was stuck with him.
And this is...
Can I say something really quick? Is it cool?
And what about John?
No.
Well, I wanted to say something about John. Because John and I were talking about, like, what was it, last week? We were trying to compartmentalize some chapters of Real Rejects history. And as kind as all you guys are on the stage right now and off stage too, John and I, this originally did start off with the plan of like, John and I were going to do this together. And there were just things that happened in the middle of the trajectory where we weren't able to keep doing it as partners on it in the beginning. But to this day, I'm like, that shouldn't be discounted. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for John. And like John and I were like, we did the first album together. Yeah, that's how we put it. We did the first album.
John and Paul.
Yeah, and then I carried on and then eventually we came back again for like a third album, and now here we are. I don't know, it's like our fourth album, and this is the best album it's ever been. Yeah, the band's only grown. It's better ever since then. So yeah, I just want.
Who's Ringo?
Probably you. Yeah.
Well, I'm still having a good time.
That was beautiful. I met
How are
Greg.
you, Michael? What? That was beautiful. So I met Greg.
I met Greg at a. You guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Greg, I just can't. I like the sound of my own voice.
I
I met
sing
Greg
this answer.
at a Jamba Juice back in 2017. I was introduced by Sally the Salamander, who some of you might have seen. And I really liked the conversation, and I offered him 12 Bitcoin. And I said, Greg, make me a star, and you'll be my bestest boy. Woo! And that's
Yeah.
it for Michael!
Let's hear it for Michael!
Give it a hand for Michael.
Give it to them too!
Holding it down,
Michael!
arranging so many of the things, not yelling at us when we ask you questions that aren't your department.
I don't know the answers to the questions. So, listen, guys, I think one of the more interesting things about all of you is that like Roxy's panicked face as I said that. Like, where is this going?
Well, I've heard you sing multiple times tonight. I've heard multiple impressions of yours. I don't know where this could go from here.
Who knows?
You
what
have
we
us
can
on
say.
our toes, man.
What could be more interesting?
But you're sitting. So, everyone knows you as personalities online.
Everyone does.
Everyone.
Every
But
single
I
human.
think what's amazing is that somehow in real life you're even more funny, hilarious, interesting. What is something that you wish the Reject Nation and the general public knew about you that may not necessarily be conveyed in your reactions?
I was a dolphin trainer when I was 21. This is not a lie. I lived in Hawaii on the
Who
big...
are you, dude?
I know. I lived on the big island of Hawaii on the Kona side, and I worked at Dolphin Quest. And I was there, and I was an intern. And then they bumped me up to assistant trainer. And then I was like, I'm going to go to SeaWorld. And I passed, like, the test at SeaWorld, and then I was like, I can't. I got to go back to L.A. I'm meant to be an actor. And then I moved back here. That's it.
I think we're good. That was
None of us are going to top that. I'm 3 kids in a trench coat.
I think people don't know. Like, I talk about comics a lot, and I talk about movies a lot now. It took a long time for people to see me as anything but comics. Also, shout out to Troy, who brought me on a comic. That's crazy, dude. Thank you. I got to sign my face on a comic. Thank you, Troy. But I love music almost as much as I love comics and movies. Like, I'm such a music guy, and I don't get to talk about it as much. But music is like, I think the amount of time I spend reading or watching, I also spend listening.
When did you, Coy, realize that Drake was really the pinnacle inspiration for you musically? Was that...
So there's this show, The Big Bang Theory, and I think The Big Bang Theory hurt my culture more than anything else ever has, and I think that Drake is the equivalent for cultures that I can't speak on nearly as much, and as someone who doesn't appropriate, thanks, Drake.
Say, Drake.
I hear you like 'em dumb.
Dolphins and Drake.
The beef continues.
Damn. That's it.
Nice, subtle Kendrick Lamar reference. That's good. Yeah.
No one else has fun fact. You're like, I am all I am.
Andrew can do the whole Quint monologue from Jaws.
Oh, man. Okay, I'll go next. I said it in my previous thing, but I am a poet. I do poetry outside of doing television and movie reactions. There's a very different side of being an artist. I'm also an actor. But yeah, I hosted for 4 years, and I like to cultivate and nurture people's creative inclinations, whether it be poetry, music, dance, or just forms of expression. And that is, in addition to talking about movies and film, that is my path. Yeah, that's it.
I think this is probably relevant to everybody on the panel, but I kind of wish people knew how many hours this took. Just because so many people comment like, oh my God, this is like the easiest thing of all time. This is the easiest gig.
No.
And I personally work 90-hour weeks minimum every week for the last 15 years. And that's not like a point of pride for me as much as a fact. You know, some of the people on the panel are in slightly different situations, but like this is my whole life. Like doing movie reactions, being an actress, being in entertainment, and it's a full-time job. So I do think that I wish kind of people understood that a little bit more, because it's frustrating when people think that it's not work. And I am so lucky, but I'm lucky at my job, not just, you know, like showing up and dicking around. Like we take it pretty seriously. So how many hours it is? It's almost as good as the dolphin story, I know.
John is right. I can do the Quint monologue, but I'm not going to put you guys through that torture right now. But I've mentioned it in a few videos, if not more. I teach baseball when I'm not doing movie reactions. I played basically my whole life since I could walk. Baseball is such a passion of mine. Teaching younger generations, nurturing. I think that's why I gravitate towards the Karate Kid franchise so much. It's something that is like, it's so endeavored into my blood. That franchise really speaks to me because it's what I do on a daily basis. Not karate, obviously, but baseball.
Secret alter ego.
But yes, it is. I'm Johnny Lawrence in disguise. But seriously, I like making sure the next generation that they are properly attended to, making sure they get proper life lessons, and hopefully succeeding not only in baseball but in life in general. It's a very big passion of mine. I love doing it. Like when I'm out there, if I know I have 3, 4, 5 hours of lessons, or if I'm doing this with this incredible team I have here, if I know I have a 4, 5, 6, 7 hour shoot day, I'm not bothered by it because I love what I do, and I'm very fortunate, and I know that, and I'm so grateful for that fact. I would also say, too, I've probably mentioned it in a few videos, but I'll mention it again. I love movie music so much because my fellow Geek Jack mentioned he loves music, which I do as well, but movie music is, like, so engraved in my blood. When I'm at the gym, that's all I will listen to. Even sometimes when I'm at home, I will just listen to straight-up movie music. because what it allows me to do when I hear that music, I can put myself vicariously through these characters and put myself in that scene. So I think movie music is so damn important to films. I mean, I could top off some movies right now. Jaws and other films would not be the same.
I had a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color?
Yeah.
What's yours?
Yeah. Oh.
Today, it's blue.
That's mine. No, seriously, blue.
Luciano
Dolphin.
Pavarotti. Do you know who he is? The opera singer?
Is this your segue?
What's happening?
Yeah.
No, I was answering the question.
Actually, I think I do know.
These
who that
are
is.
written on
He
the
was
cue
one of the
card,
three
actually.
tenors. He once wrote a letter that said I was the future of opera. That's a fun fact about me.
That's amazing.
That was my answer to the question. Who would like to answer the question next?
If you ever hear me in a video say the words, "I'm pretty good with a bow staff," that is based on real facts because I did once win a gold medal for bow staff at a taekwondo tournament. And
What?
I've held on to it
Who
for
are you,
all
dude?
of my validation ever since. That's so yeah.
Dolphins and bow
Like, this
staffs.
is crazy.
Am I the best moderator today?
You are. And you're the future
Really good
of opera.
questions, to be honest, though. Like, I'm really impressed. Give it up for Michael, you guys. Can
Michael.
we please?
Thank you. I will live off of that for 2 months. So we're running
Ahead.
out
We're
of
running
time.
cold.
No, we got so much time.
So I'm gonna ask one more question. I'm gonna stand up for this one.
Oh, should we all stand up?
I'm standing up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, do you remember WonderCon? Greg can't sit for that long.
I think it's weird. I feel like we should be on the same. I feel like sitting.
You wanna
above-
be
I don't
even
want. I feel like I don't want to
further
feel like we're
above-
sitting
above
above
the
people.
people.
I don't know. I want.
She's sitting
I
on
want
the
to like
ground,
move
too.
to this chair.
That's
Yeah.
why Greg is like, we all talk of his kindness. I enjoy sitting up, and Greg's like, amongst people. And I'm like, I like this. We're on stage.
I think it's
Shakespeare was like, this is right.
Really good that we're running out of time and we talk about where we're sitting. Should we keep doing that until we finish?
How do you like sitting?
Yeah,
Legs
should we
crossed?
stand? Should we sit?
It's actually a great segue because our next bit are stand-up comedians. All right, so final question for my rejects. Guys,
And
this
girls.
past year has been a big one for the Real Rejects in that you've tried a lot of new things. Who has seen some of the amazing social media sketches that Roxy's put together?
My favorite people here. I like them best.
They're so good. And also now there's like certain themed things and it's just a lot easier to find stuff and there's all these cool new ideas. If Greg didn't give you any pushback whatsoever, what is one thing that you would love for the Real Rejects to be doing? And then Greg, after they've all answered, you have to say yes, no. And we're going to go in order of, we're going to get down to Greg. So Aaron, you're take us
you're
away.
starting with me. Let's see. I would like to do one of two things. One, very intense and creative advertisements for our shirts, because I think it'd be fun to just make commercials on social media that are funny. And two, do reenactments of movie scenes, because I think that'd be hilarious.
I'm for that, what he just said, because I love doing impressions. Right, Greg?
Right. I mean,
We ain't hungry no more.
so you want to do reenactments of movie scenes? Yeah, that should only take like a couple minutes. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I love the movie reenactment thing because that's how Gregory found me. I used to reenact movie trailers, just me and toys in my house. Yeah, that's a thing I did. I'm not making a joke. I would like to watch every A24 film, whether it performs well or not. That's just how we roll. We stick to it.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I think that Aaron and I both pitched this 2 years in a row, but I wanted to do all award show coverage, watching every TV show that was Emmy nominated and then doing coverage of the Emmys, and then same thing with the Oscars. It got shut down, but for a very good reason. Right, Greg?
Yes, Roxy.
I likewise have two, like Aaron. One of them would be rewatching my favorite movies, but with someone that hasn't seen them. So John had never seen Fight Club, and I love Fight Club. Greg and I are both huge fans of The Matrix, and I think that is actually cooking. But my first one would be to watch stuff we have seen and like to experience our personalities a bit more, not just like reacting to something new, but like reacting to something we know really well, and then with something that doesn't know it as well. And then the second thing would be music stuff. I want to talk about music. I want, like, guys, I love music so much. So music and rewatches.
Yeah, I mean, I think the movie commentary thing we all talked about as a group doing is being able to like rewatch stuff, but get a little bit harder on the commentary. So people are like, please shut up, you guys are talking too much while we're trying to watch this reaction.
Yeah, what is that? Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, you could just pause our faces and watch it then. Like, just, if you don't want us to talk, just like have a weird photo of us up or something.
Rewind, let's go.
There you go. That's a good name.
He didn't acknowledge music. Note it.
I love the idea of doing music, so I'll just throw a secondary onto the music. But
We talk about it on every Patreon intro.
I was going to say, if you want a music podcast featuring John and Coy, just sign up for the Patreon.
Or a live stream about Kendrick.
If it was me, I would pitch, we have a genre-based schedule that includes a wild card Wednesday. And what I would do is I would like throw all the weirdo cult movies at that, to make that like the truly experimental slot of the week, which probably wouldn't garner like a whole lot of views up at the top, but like that's where you put your Samurai Cop, that's where you put your Troll 2, or your like Tetsuo the Iron Man. It doesn't even have to be like terrible, so to speak, just like weird off the beaten path stuff, because that's what I love the most. So that would be my pitch. What are you gonna pitch?
I would like to see Greg do reactions to major shakeups in the precious metal industry. I'm concerned that we as a Reject Nation are not a gold-based. We need a fiat currency. No,
Live reactions to the stock market.
yeah.
I want to watch paint dry.
No, I would love to see video game reactions being taken a little bit further. We did like a little bit of trailer reactions for the Jedi Survivor game, which was extraordinary. Greg is like a super incredible gamer, and by that I mean he really likes The Last of Us. But, you know, especially as the threshold between film, television, and video games gets thinner and thinner, and these stories just become more intricate and narrative-based, I feel like they do such a beautiful job at capturing so many of the emotions that everyone here on this stage is so good at expressing in an authentic way. And it would be a non-Star Wars thing that Greg would probably let me do.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I want Coy to cry on camera. I think now that I think about it,
You know
I'm like,
what's so funny? I was just thinking,
I'm
but what does Greg want?
I'm
And
pretty
when
sure-
this guy comes in.
I'm pretty sure he's the only one here who's never cried on camera.
The amount
So-
I want to be able to cry is rivaled only by the amount Greg wants me to cry for his prof.
I'm sure that when Coy starts to get there, he's like, oh, it's happening, and then he becomes so aware that it's about to happen that he doesn't end up crying.
I almost cried during The Abyss out of sheer bliss. Like, I loved The Abyss. We did the Abyss, and I was like, is this a 5-star experience? And I was like, it's so. And then I was like, I'm on camera. And it wasn't I'm scared of comments. It was like, this is weird. It was so, I want that for you, Greg.
Maybe
I want
we can
that
do
for
the
you.
director's cut and you'll have your chance.
Just full weeping.
I see Straw Hat Goofy in the crowd. I want him to come on the channel.
Yeah.
I want for him to come on.
We're going to react to Too Fast, Too Furious. We're going to just recite it.
Roxy had a great idea to do more, like we're doing a lot more Black History Month, because Black History Month, we're doing a lot more Black-centric movies, and she pitched the idea like last year to do more genre or thematic things, depending on like the time of the year, and I really like that idea a lot.
Almost cried.
But then I pitched one of them days, and I haven't heard back.
She looked
We'll
at me
talk.
because she sent it to me, but I haven't pitched it to Greg yet because
Oh,
I've
okay.
already looked at the schedule.
The team's in shambles,
Yes.
right?
I, the poet, want to do poetic justice.
It's already done.
We did that. We did that recently.
I know.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I just want to say a very special thank you to all the rejects. These guys, in addition to just being wildly funny and entertaining, are also just some of the nicest and most generous people that I know. And I'm so grateful to call you colleagues and so grateful to call, I think, all of you friends.
Yes.
It's a good.
Go
I
down the
shared your
line.
article
You
within.
did.
I
I
got
said
so-
yes immediately.
Within 17 minutes of it dropping, I was
I
reading
literally
it.
cried when Coy did that. But
Who
no,
are you questioning if they're
Yeah,
your
right?
friend?
You looked me in the
You said,
eye.
I think.
I
Which
pointed
one
to
of
Coy.
us?
He pointed at me. He,
Michael,
called me
I
immediately.
listened to that whole Atlanta story. I am your friend, okay?
Can I say,
which brings us to our next segment. No.
can I say one last thing? Have you guys seen the movie? Who here has seen the movie Funny People with Adam Sandler?
Yes.
And yeah. I'm only here to answer Straw Hat Goofy's questions today. Yeah, what do you want to know, Juju? What do you want to know?
Also, only call him by his TikTok moniker.
Yeah. So in that movie, one of the things that I realized at a certain point with working with everyone, I was like, oh, I'm a bit like Adam Sandler here, where I've like paid people to be my friends in a weird way. But I think it's evolved so past that, and when it came to this point here today, I was everyone who's asked about why have you been excited to do this, I mean, like, it's mainly because I just wanted to be up here with all of you guys. I think everyone here has made this channel so much more special, and it has made my life better in so many ways and exciting. And it doesn't feel, it's like it was like myself, and there was just myself and Sean, and it was like a lot of grind and isolation. So to be at this point, what a lot of people don't know is that there's a lot of like team building and there's a lot of camaraderie, and that actually started here at Multi-House when we all first met together, and I was like, we got to take this into a different direction. So there's a lot of you guys are like strangers with each other, and now two of you live together. You know, like,
Yeah.
so, like
We're
being
roomies.
part of this. I love
Greg,
the fact that it's evolved
Greg,
into
we
a real
all-
friendship.
The rest of us, we all live together. We have a place.
A creator
Rented
house.
the
around
house
this
next
film.
door.
Also,
No, I love you guys, and I'm just happy that we could all just be here together hanging out right now. So, and I love all you guys who
Aw,
decided to stick
shucks.
around after this thing started at 10 a.m. and it's after dark right now, and you guys are all here. So thank you guys for being here, and it means a lot, especially because it's all going to a good cause as well. So thank you.
We appreciate
The
you.
Real
Thank you.
Rejects, ladies and gentlemen. The Real Rejects. Thank you guys so much. Please stick around for MultiCon After Dark. These comics are great, and they got pushed even further into the dark. So if you want to just give us 2 minutes while we get set up, it's going to be a great time. You can grab a drink at the bar, maybe enjoy an IPA, whatever floats your fancy. Whatever floats your fancy? Do fancies float?
That was a pun. That's a good comedy right there.
Also, I'm going to speak for all of us real quick. You guys being here in person, it's the weirdest job in the world. We talked about all the good stuff, but the job is literally watching movies like in front of a camera and prepping and discussing and all those things and like being prepared to comment. But like without you guys, it is literally the only difference is we have a roof over our head. The rest is like meandering, homelessly muttering stuff. So like you guys make it a real thing. So thank you for allowing us to do this for you.
You're here. Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
I love you guys. Thank you.